All right, I guess it's the moment of truth. Let's see what we've got here. Everything dissolved. All that black stuff dissolved. Get you a good zoom in on that. My very fresh stannous chloride over here that I just made just now. And well, hello scrappers, Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. What do we got going on today? Well, today we're going to revisit getting platinum out of Johnny's mystery electronic components, which I found out later were actually selenium rectifiers. Okay? Should not be any platinum in selenium rectifiers. Anyway, after getting rid of the base metals with multiple nitric acid treatments, I took what was left and dissolved it in aqua regia, at least as much of it as it would dissolve, and wound up with a liquid that tested positive for platinum. Now, it's been, I don't know, a couple weeks. Let's see if it still tests positive for platinum. Let's get a little bit of it on a spot plate here. And we'll put a little bit of stannous chloride on it. And we'll see. Yep, we still got that orange positive for platinum there. Very strong orange. Now this liquid's been through a lot. I tried to drop the platinum out of it using Hoch's method with ammonium chloride and got nothing. Absolutely nothing. I put a lot of ammonium chloride in there. As I boiled this back down, a lot of it crystallized out of solution, and I've gotten rid of that ammonium chloride crystal. Now, when part 3 came out in that series and no platinum appeared, people were disappointed. I was disappointed. I thought it was a good learning experience. A lot of people in the video comments said, yeah, it's a great learning experience. Too bad there was no platinum. Other people said, you're doing it wrong. You should have used zinc to drop the platinum out of that liquid. I'll bet if you put zinc in there, platinum will drop out. Use zinc, dummy. And this went on this way for quite a while. Now, I know very well zinc would drop platinum out of this liquid if it has platinum in it. I know that. I also know there's a lot of stuff besides platinum in here, if there is even any platinum, which I'm starting to doubt. There is copper. There is probably nickel, possibly cobalt, tin. There might still be some selenium in here, and who knows what else. So if I put zinc in there, all those other metals, they're all going to come out of solution. It's not just for platinum. I used ammonium chloride because that is a very selective precipitate for platinum. And it would not bring down all that other stuff. But I got nothing out of it. So at this point, I guess I've got nothing to lose. Since so many people wanted to see it, we'll put some zinc in here and see what happens. I've got a roll of very pure zinc metal here. I've already cut a few pieces off. I think this is left over from when I did my stock pot a while back. Quite a while back now. So we'll put some zinc in it. First, I think, though, I'm going to reacidify it a little bit with some muriatic acid. Like I said, this stuff's been through a lot. It's been boiled down. It's been crystallized. It's whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised if the pH has gone up quite a bit. So we'll put some muriatic acid in it, and then we'll put some zinc in it and see what happens. All right, let me give this a good stir here. All right, and then we'll put a piece of zinc in and see what happens. Now, I knew there was going to be a reaction because this is acidified. We'll see what comes out of solution. In fact, I'm going to live dangerously here and put another piece in. I don't think it's going to boil over, but there we go. Let's see if we can see anything going on in there. Any kind of black powder coming out of solution. So far, no. But I have a lot more zinc. Huh. We're getting a pink foam on top. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, there might be some powder metal powder coming out of solution in that foam, quite possibly. And interestingly, it's pink. Huh. Okay. Yeah, now we're getting some kind of precipitate, but it's not a black powder. It looks pink. What in the world? You know what? That could be selenium we're seeing. I'll bet that's selenium. A lot of selenium compounds are pink or red. So I think we're seeing selenium come out of solution. Even after all of this I've done to this, we've still got some selenium in solution, I think. Okay. Well, yeah. Let me throw a couple more pieces of zinc in, and we'll see if we get any kind of black powder coming out of solution. If platinum does come out, it's going to be heavier than the selenium. We should be able to see it on the bottom of the beaker. So, yeah, let me cut up a couple more pieces of zinc and throw them in. Yeah, that's foaming up pretty good, so I got to be careful. I'm going to put in one more for now, and then hold off on putting any more until that foam subsides some. I don't want it to bubble over on me. There is some dark stuff there. Is it dark, just dark red, or is it black? That's hard to tell. Hard to tell. But if we're bringing the selenium out of solution, that's possibly going to cause us problems down the road. Unless I can get rid of it again. So I'll give that some thought. But yeah, see, it's foaming up pretty good. So I'm not going to put any more zinc in for now. I'll wait a little while until that subsides. Okay. Just give that a chance to do its thing. Okay. You hit that with some more zinc. The zinc I put in earlier is actually floating, so it's got thin and light enough now that the bubbles are holding it up. There is some black stuff there, I think. But the liquid is turning very red. Very, very red. That is a sign we've got selenium in there. So, maybe the selenium is what's giving me the false positive for platinum. Or could the selenium be preventing the platinum from coming out of solution with ammonium chloride if there really is platinum there? Possibilities. Either there's no platinum and the selenium is giving me a false positive, or there is platinum and the selenium is preventing it from coming out of solution. Well, we'll just have to see what I can do with this stuff once it's done reacting. One more piece of zinc, I think, for now anyway. Put more in later. There's definitely some dark stuff back there. Well, I guess time will tell. I'll keep adding zinc to this until it looks like we're not getting anything else coming out of solution. Then we'll see what we got. Alright, I fed quite a bit of zinc in here. I mean, it's by no means done reacting. I could put more in, but I thought I'd give you a look at it. Got this deep red liquid, starting to look a little bit like tomato juice. I'm certain that red is from selenium. But there is some black stuff in there, both floating and on the bottom of the beaker. Now, is it really platinum, though? Or is it all those other base metals I was talking about that have come out of solution? Hard to say at this point. I think what I need to do, though, is I need to keep feeding zinc in until it won't dissolve anymore. So the reaction's definitely slowed down a lot. I think I can put in 3 pieces without worrying about it bubbling over now. By the way, the liquid's gotten very hot. And this was all stone cold when I started. The heat is not on the hot plate. The heat is just from the reaction with the zinc. So, I guess we'll just let it go. I'll keep this up until I'm really not getting any more reaction. Okay, it's the next morning. I had to shut this down and head for the house because we had bad weather coming in fast. It was coming in fast, too. Didn't really want to, but had to leave it overnight. And, well, overnight, it got cool. And we've got a lot of crystal growth in there. I assume that is probably zinc chloride and or ammonium chloride. Now we do have a little half-hearted bubbling going on. I put a couple more pieces of zinc in just before I ran for the house, and there was hardly any bubbling. So I know we were close to having all of the zinc digested that it would digest. I'm going to turn the heat on, warm this stuff up, and see if we can get those crystals to go back into solution. Because everything on the bottom of the beaker is just covered with crystals. And it looks like most of that red stuff settled out overnight because the liquid's very clear. That red stuff is going to be the red allotrope of selenium, elemental selenium. Now, there was some black stuff there too, but I know selenium also has a black allotrope. So I don't know if there's anything other than selenium and maybe a few base metals in here. I guess we'll have to do some more testing and see. But I need to get those crystals all dissolved because they're covering everything on the bottom of the beaker. And then once they're dissolved, we'll see how much more of this zinc goes into solution and if anything else comes out of solution. And then I got to figure out how to separate the red stuff from the black stuff if I can. So that's on my agenda for today. For now, I'm going to let this warm up and see if those crystals go back into solution. I can always dilute it some if I need to, I guess. Well, as this stuff warms up, we're starting to get some more active bubbling. Looks like maybe some of the crystals are going back in solution. Good. All right. Let's let this continue to warm up and see how much of that stuff we can get in solution. Alrighty, this is warmed up good. It looks like all the crystals have gone back into solution. And the zinc I put in there at the end of the day yesterday is really reacting strongly, probably because this is so hot now, I would imagine. Because I was really getting a half-hearted any kind of reaction out of it after I put it in. So I think I'm going to let that zinc continue to react and give some thought to how I want to try and separate the red selenium from anything heavy, any metal that might be sitting on the bottom of the beaker. I've got some ideas, but I need to think about it a little bit. And then, well, we'll go from there once it looks like the zinc is done doing its thing. Alrighty, the zinc that was in there has all dissolved, and we're back to something that looks like tomato soup again. So, I've turned the heat way down. I want to keep it just slightly warm so the crystals don't reform. But I want it to cool off some, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir it up really good, wait a minute or two, and then siphon the liquid off, leaving whatever solids are in the bottom. Now, the selenium, which is the red stuff, has about a fifth of the density of any platinum that might be in there. If there's copper in there or any other metal on the bottom, it's also going to be a lot dense. It's also going to be a lot less dense than those. So if I give it a stir and then siphon the liquid off the top, I think the metal will stay on the bottom. If I filter this, I hear some of you saying, just filter it and capture the metal. That red stuff is going to plug the filter almost immediately, and it won't do me any good. I won't be able to separate the red stuff from any solids on the bottom of the beaker. So that's what I'm going to do just as soon as this cools down enough. I don't want to try and siphon a super hot liquid my hose might get, melty. So, all right, give me a few minutes to let this cool down and we'll get to siphoning. Okay, so this stuff has had a chance to cool down. It's only warm now, it's not hot. I'm going to give it a really good stir here. And hopefully that red stuff's going to stay in solution long enough for me to siphon this off. I've got a beaker down here below that I'm going to siphon this stuff into. So nothing's being lost. Okay. There we go. And we're siphoning. I do see some darker stuff on the bottom. Don't know what it is. I guess we'll find out here. But this selenium is tough to get rid of, clearly. Everything I put this stuff through, it's still full of selenium. Get the rest of this liquid siphoned off. What I might do, in fact, I think I will. I think I'll rinse this liquid I think I'll rinse these solids on the bottom of the beaker a couple of times. Oh, there's still crystals down there. But there's black stuff too. I'll give you a look at this, just a second. Interesting. Okay. I'll give you a close-up look at that. There's a bunch of crystals in there still, but there's some dark-colored stuff there too. And we got a bathtub ring of red around the beaker. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some distilled water in here and heat it up again. See if I can get those crystals to dissolve. And siphon that liquid off and see if we can leave the dark stuff on the bottom behind. There is some dark stuff down there. Yeah, but I got to get those crystals to dissolve. I'm going to put the heat back on it. I'll probably have to siphon it hot. I guess it probably won't hurt my hose. But yeah, if I let it cool off, any crystals start forming again. I dissolved a lot of zinc in there. There was still a lot of ammonium chloride too. Those two things may have been coming out of solution. All right, we'll let that heat up again, and then I'll siphon it again. Because there is some black stuff on the bottom, and it's staying on the bottom, which tells me it's heavy. So maybe, just maybe, unless it's one of the base metals. All right, back once this heats up and those crystals dissolve. All right, after a few minutes on heat, those crystals, whatever they were, have redissolved. So I'm going to siphon the liquid off. There is a black powder on the bottom of the beaker. It's pretty heavy black powder. Might be metal. Certainly a lot heavier than the selenium was. Kind of stays in place. Siphon this liquid off. Oh yeah, that's some hot liquid now. My hose is trying to burn my fingers. Yeah. Once I get this siphoned off, I'll give you a look at it. And decide what to do with it from there. Well, there it is. There's not very much of it in there. We got a red bathtub ring of selenium around the beaker and some black powder. Okay, so I'm going to get this black powder into a smaller beaker and maybe give it another couple of rinses with distilled water. And then maybe we'll hit it with some aqua regia and see what kind of reaction we get. But I'm definitely going to give it a couple more rinses and see if I can get selenium out of it, just in case selenium is causing a false positive. Alrighty, I've got that black powder in a smaller beaker. I've rinsed it a couple of times with distilled water. Let's hit it with some aqua regia and see what happens. I'm going to start off with some muriatic acid. Not too much, there's not much material there. We'll leave it at about that, maybe 50 milliliters worth. And we're going to put some nitric acid on it. And again, don't need a whole lot, but more than I would use for trying to dissolve gold, I think, because platinum is a little more resistant. So there's about 2.5 milliliters. And there's about 2.5 more milliliters. So that's a lot of nitric acid for that small amount of material in there. All right. So I'll lid that up, and I'm going to put some heat to it. And we'll see what happens. See if we can get enough of that stuff into solution to do a stannous chloride test. I hope we've got rid of the selenium, just in case it's causing a false positive for platinum. But I'll tell you what, if that's platinum, there's certainly not enough there to have made all this work in 4 videos worth the effort. So I guess we'll see once it has a chance to heat up and react. Well, it's been a couple minutes. It's starting to heat up. Get some kind of reaction going on in there. I'm making some fresh stannous chloride using my stannous chloride on demand method, which I have a video about. I'll put a link in the upper right. You can check that out if you like. But yeah, stuff's definitely dissolving. So we'll just let it go. And once it's done, I'll turn the heat off. And once the stannous chloride's ready, we'll give it a test. All right, I guess it's the moment of truth. Let's see what we've got here. Everything dissolved. All that black stuff dissolved. Whatever it was went into solution with aqua regia just fine. Get you a good zoom in on that. My very fresh stannous chloride over here that I just made just now. And oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that. Wow. We actually do have some platinum there. Not very much, but maybe there is some actual platinum there. I'm going to give you a close-up look at that with my phone. And those of you who've seen stannous chloride tests of platinum, let me know in the comments what you think of that, because I think the texture is a little weird that forms when this happens. It's the right color, but the texture is a little off. You see what I mean? It all agglomerates into little blobs. Is that normal for platinum? Or am I seeing some sort of false positive? Let me know in the comments, you platinum experts out there. I'd appreciate it. So maybe we do actually have a little bit of platinum in your blue blobs, Johnny, but I'll tell you what. It took an extraordinary, nearly superhuman effort to get that tiny little bit of black dust so that I could get what looks like a definitively positive result for platinum. So your XRF was way off. These things are not like a third platinum. They're maybe a third of a percent platinum at the most. Maybe not even that much. So, all right. Well, I think we're finally at the end of this long journey of dealing with Johnny's little blobs here. And Johnny, I'm not even going to try and recover this little bit of platinum for you. I'm sorry. I'm just going to add it to my stock pot and move on with life. Because that little bit of black powder, there's absolutely nothing I could do with it. I don't even have a torch hot enough to melt it into a little bead. So, and it would be a very little bead because there wasn't that much powder in there. So I'm just going to add it to my stock pot, move on with life, and start processing something else of yours because you brought me so much other stuff. And whew, all right, well, we got there in the end. We found some platinum. I'm pretty happy with how this process went. If you guys are happy, if you found this video series at all educationally interesting, um, laughable, whatever, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe to see more of me processing precious metal wastes. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching this one. Bye. Okay, you platinum experts out there. One other question. This seems to have permanently stained my spot plate. Is that normal for platinum? Let me know. It's kind of a bummer. That cell's permanently stained now. I can't seem to get it clean. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye. Alright, so here's your post-script. I had a change of heart. Instead of dumping this into my stock pot, I'm going to dump it into here. And maybe dilute it some. And use it as a platinum standard in the future. For comparison purposes. I mean, I'll wait until I see what you guys say in the comments about this. Make sure it really does look like proper platinum. And if so, I'll just keep this as another chemical in my arsenal as a platinum standard so that I know what platinum looks like in the future. So go ahead and leave your comments. And once again, thanks for watching. I'm really done this time. Bye.